and speak with our correspondents as we report on happenings across Africa. So like we say, coming up very shortly at 7 on the first segment of our show. We will have with us the group on the banner Opposition United for the re-election of President George Weah. They will sit on the platform shortly from 7 up to 8 o'clock. We'll have a lengthy discussion on the reason why, as opposition bloc here supporting a ruling establishment, it raises concern. Many are eager, they want to know what exactly is in it. Yeah, why those opposition partisans will be supporting the ruling party, to go for a re-election. So the guys will sit on our platform. I'm told that let me get this thing correct. Correct. All right. I'm told that the national chairperson and that of the vice chair for administration will be the two distinct individuals that will serve the conversation up until 8 o'clock this evening. So welcome, folks. This is Issues of Today on the Voice of Liberia. Help us share the live for those of you watching. We say thanks for joining us on the program. We wholeheartedly appreciate you for joining us on the program this evening. But there are lots of issues to talk about. Yeah, there are lots of issues to talk about. Like we sit in Liberia, lots of happenings as continue to unfold, across the country, ranging from election matters up until to the repeated waves of violence in the country, and you just name the rest, and lots of issues. But what makes it unique is that we have a term, we call spade in spade, and we have these kinds of conversation. Like you listen to our correspondent from Sierra Leone, he tells you that in Sierra Leone, because they just I'm saying they have Sierra Leone is just 2 months to elections. The election is scheduled for June of this year. So you listen to our Sierra Leone correspondent. He said to you that currently the government, opposition members, and the media went to an agreement and they signed two separate documents. So that means that every media house in Sierra Leone, that of the government and opposition, came together and signed a memorandum of understanding so that everyone will remain, especially the media will remain independent. The media won't report anything that threatens the peace, that threatens the election process. So it tells you in our West African country to what extent the individuals, the politicians, and the government value the media. It tells you to what extent the guys hold the media. In Liberia, the case is different. We have 4, 5 months, 6 months to elections. Today, you want to have a conversation. You call on those responsible to come in so they can share the platform and encourage the Liberian people, the general population as a whole, on the different happenings, on activities leading to the elections. It becomes a problem. Sometimes you call back and forth, you have a conversation, the person that shows you they're going to come on, and at the end of it, everything turns out to be the worst. Yeah. So it is important that you listen to these kinds of report. For those in authority, like what I said, you see, to be a good leader, one of the things you must do, is that you must be open to listen to criticism. Yeah. When you create a space where you listen to the outsider more than those that surround you, it helps you a lot. it helps you a lot. It helps you, it places you in a very good position because those that are not around you are the ones that see the problem. Those that are not around you are the ones that understand what you're going through. Those that are not around you are the ones that go through, let me say that feel, let me say the other ones that are negatively or positively affected by your actions. So it is important that you listen. Listen, I say this to someone every time. I continue to say this, right? If, for instance, every time when I'm given an opportunity to serve, you know why? Those that are connected to me, those that are associated to me, those that see me every day, we have talks, we have conversation every time. I don't really listen to them in terms of decision making. Let me be very honest. I want to give an ear to the public, right? I want to listen outside, those that don't know me, people that don't come across me, because these are the ones that your action will affect. Listen, those that surround you, what they do, they want to say everything positive. Because the person feel that when you, the more you praise a person, that's the more the person feel safe, they feel comfortable being around you. Yeah, for that is strictly practical. The more you go around someone, the person praise you, you know, they say the good things about you, you feel good going around a person. That's strictly. But if you want to give an ear to those that don't know you, I mean, those are not directly connected with you, but they are the ones, your actions, what you do, the decisions you make, affect them. Then you want to have a conversation with the kinds of individual. When you have a conversation with it, you know what it does? It helps you to understand from how you're thinking things. I mean, the way you understand, the way you go about your stuff, and how is it being treated in the public. So the Sierra Leone government, yeah, and the guys in Sierra Leone politicians were very, 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 very strategic. They had to convene that section. You know, they come up lots of resolution, join to the process that hey, to have a successful electoral process, one of the things that is required is that the media has a greater responsibility the media has a greater responsibility, and for the media to have a space to practice, you know, and provide the accurate information rests on the shoulder of all those that are part of the process. If you're a leader, you own a political institution, and you're not open to the media, how do you expect the media to inform the Liberians about the happiness? We don't play magic. Obviously, we don't play magic to present the information. So you are the one to be. You are responsible, you know, to feed us of the information. Most of you run a political institution like a ritual club. You know, you don't disclose information, things that you have. You know, you don't expose it to the public in terms of your undertakings. You are not media friendly, but yet you will say, you sit to your house, you know, and say the media is not doing an independent job. So the people that open up when we go investigation, we have these platforms, right? You invite someone, you invite the guys, come on, let's have a conversation. See, you have this political institution, there is a need. We have a conversation because every man has a follower, for that is truth. Your follower might not be more than the next man on, but there is an understanding that every man has a follower. So your followers too, you know, is the next person, they follow the next person. Come on and have a conversation, it becomes a problem for you. But folks, we're not bothered about that. I'm just saying this in passing because it is important we have these kinds of conversation. Yeah, when informed that I bring people as to what are the reasons why you see things at times happen the way it is, and all of that and what I feel. But this is where we are. Our first set of guests is in studio. I'm told that the guy should have been a team. I'm saying a team of two, but I'm saying just an individual. But so be we're going to continue. We very shortly we kickstart a conversation once our oh my word, where is this thing? Once my producer get everything set to bring him on the camera, we can kickstart a conversation, folks. This is Issues of Today on the Voice of Liberia. And our first set of guests will be the Opposition United for the re-election of President George Weah. And they're going to serve us. They're going to serve the conversation strictly up until 8 p.m. this evening. And so you got to double up. You have to hurry up. We have to do everything, folks, to get this thing on. Yeah, we got to do this. We got to do it to. Yeah, we're gonna do everything to get this on. And so we will kickstart the conversation while our producer do everything possible to bring the guys on the camera. Well, this is where we are, folks. Good evening and welcome again. Welcome once more. You have to use this side. You have to use this side. All right. And like we said, we have the Opposition United for. Yes, you have to do it. And let me see. Perhaps I've been notified that I'm trying to get the name correctly. Let's see how it works. Oh my word. Mhm. Yeah, so I'm going to kickstart the conversation now. You want to use a headphone? Yeah, we have to get started, folks. Okay, so the name is the Opposition Movement for the Re-election of President George Weah. And they are here of us in studio, a team of two. We're going to kickstart the conversation now, folks. It pleases us to welcome them. Gentlemen, good evening and welcome.
Good evening.
You want to adjust the microphone closer to you? Yeah, it moves. Yeah, no, just leave it up, it moves. Yeah, you bring it closer. Mhm. Good evening and welcome.
Good evening, Voice of Liberia, and good evening to our fellow listeners. It's an opportunity and privilege to be at this hour as we discuss national issue that has to do with our beloved Liberia.
I want to move on the helm of fire red flank. Good evening as well and welcome.
Good evening, and thanks for the invite.
You don't look happy. What's the problem?
I know I'm okay.
Yeah, sometimes it's
I'm
good. We
okay,
ask,
like,
or the way you appear at times, it kickstart the conversation. You look a bit sad, should I say?
No, I'm okay.
You're okay. All right, that's good. We want to begin. You representing the opposition movement for the re-election of President George Weah. You care to introduce yourself and the various positions you occupied at your institution. We begin from this side, you tell us.
My names are Eddie B.Y. Gibson, for short, Eddie Gibson. I'm the vice chair for administration in the institution, from the institution that you mentioned previously, the opposition movement for the re-election of President George Weah.
And I want to move on this side. You tell us as well your name and the position you occupied at the institution.
I'm Winston Quina, chairperson opposition movement for the re-election of President Weah.
And the folks who have the vice chair for administration and the national chairperson of the group of us opposition movement for the re-election of President George Weah. I want to begin. You care to tell the audience in the next 1 minute a little bit about yourself? Maybe Liberians listening want to know who are you and perhaps what you have been involved with in recent times.
Thank you. Again, the name remains Eddie B.Y. Gibson. I'm a student of the University of Liberia studying international relations, a graduate of the Stars College of Technology. And again, I'm involved into diverse activities which has to do with our world, business, workings. And again, we remain restless until we can see the transformation of this nation, Liberia, because we believe that where we meet this nation, we cannot leave it to where we made it. we have to take it far beyond where we made it. That's why we are on our feet 24/7. That's why we are here at this hour. And again, the only thing that can stop us is Jesus that is above us.
And then we're going to move to the chairperson. You care to tell us, the audience listening want to know a bit about you, perhaps what you have been involved with in recent times.
Again, I'm Winston Quina, chairperson opposition movement for the re-election of President Weah, a Liberian student studying in Severio at the Jala University, major in political science. And I have been involved with a series of activities, including the political activities in Liberia in recent time. We've been involved with the voter registration process, going out there and talking to our people to register, going in the trenches and seeing how best we can encourage those who may be weak in getting to the queue to get their voter registration card. As you know that Liberia is a global society, and I think it's incumbent upon us to, awaken the consciousness of those who may not have that zest to move on to the voter registration process.
And it establishes our conversation. Give us a historical narration of this movement. When was it established, and why was this movement established? I know if you could answer the question.
Okay. This movement started a year ago because I cannot give you a specific date because here myself we met, we discussed, almost it's a vision. We discuss, in our Liberian parlance, after eating, we discuss a lot of things, got our nation on our mind, thinking how best we can contribute towards society. Like the name goes, the opposition movement for the re-election of President George Manneh Weah. We are indeed from the opposition society, to be precise, the Unity Party. But, if you don't know the person, you don't know who the man is, you don't know who that person is, again, you can say much about them. When President George Manneh Weah was re-elected, we met within our closet and watch him with the notion, let me be clear on this platform, with the notion that yes, he's going to fail. Not thinking that if he fail, we all fail. When he took over, there was a lot of saga. The missing billion, the missing this, the missing that.
You want to speak to the microphone so you be audible?
Yeah, the missing this, the missing that. He didn't rise. He proved not just to us, but the entire world that yes, he's a leader that has the ability to transform this nation and can even go beyond. That's why today we see a lot of development ongoing. So based on his developmental agenda, his developmental initiative, we thought about this person that we're thinking of differently. He's not the person that we think. So there's a need that we join him because this nation Liberia is not just about him, it's about us and it has to do with our generation. That's why we are here today and fast-forwarding his second term bid.
You want to add up to that?
Yes, as he said, we met some time ago last year, and we saw a need that we put hands. We joined forces with members of the Coalition for Democratic Change in supporting the second term bid of President Weah. And this came as a result of what we saw in the opposition community. We saw hypocrisy. We saw that the opposition was not prepared to lead Liberia as compared to what we were seeing in government. Like he said, from the initial stage, the government had lots and lots of tension. And you know that, you and I know very well from the onset, people thought President Weah wouldn't even end his term. Most opposition members were pushing with the mindset that President George Manneh Weah should not end his 6-year term. Some were even pushing for interim government and all this stuff, with all of the pressure the government withstood, and President Weah withstood all the tension and pressure, and then later he was able to defeat so many of those odds. Today, you can see that the president has embarked on series of developmental activities with all of the challenges, with all of the lobby that opposition community have been lobbying outside there with international partners, making sure that the government doesn't get help, making sure that Liberia is being strangulated so that the economy of Liberia will push the citizens against the government in order for them to have the opportunity to get back to power. But because we were there, we too have the level of consciousness that you think somebody else should have to understand the national politics. So we were just observing, and at the end of the day, we noticed that our own people were not ready, and their quest for power was not sincere. And so on that ground, we decided that there's a need. We joined forces with the Coalition for Democratic Change for the re-election of President Weah. Continuity would have been the best for the people of Liberia, rather than allowing people who just want to come to power because they think that the immunities that they were enjoying for the past 12 years have been taken away from them, and they could no longer withstand the tension as opposition.
Sometimes when people listen to you guys, when you come up with different organizations, different exoneries, they tend to believe that because perhaps, like he mentioned, you from the opposition bloc, perhaps where you find the circle you find yourself in, you haven't been given that recognition you need. And because of that, many other reasons, you want somewhere, you want a place where when you find yourself, you're going to be recognized. And most especially, like you add an opposition to your name. I mean, like every other ruling establishment want to reconcile with folks like you. Sometimes people want to believe because of that. That's one of the reasons why you had to establish such a group.
Indeed, everyone will have notion, everyone will have belief, everyone will have thinking, because you do not support their argument, or they don't know much about you. But we introduced ourselves previously. We are into government, and not just the Georgia region. President, we are to be precise, region. I started work since 2009. My first work was with NEC as contractor, and I have a permanent job that every young man will want at this moment. I started working during the President Serif era. So I'm not really benefiting directly from President John Manuel Weah, in the sense that he's given me job. I receive money from maybe some of his cabinet ministers. This is something I think about, I put myself into, because I believe that this nation has to do with me.
And when did you realize that?
After sitting in my corner and observe this government, President George Manuel Weah, are solving calculus. A man that I didn't believe that he could even answer a simple SOSO, could even say a simple SOSO. But he solved calculus beyond my expectation, meaning this construction of military hospitals, the response to all of the critics.
The election is just a year, it's just 5-6 months.
The response to numerous critics. Even a recent, you won't believe that some of us, Liberians, believe that President Weah, who had been put into prison, he went to the U.S. People just sit and think negatively about this man. But if you really sit and analyze, you will find reason to join the team, because he's not just going as an individual, he carries grace. I'm sorry to say, because I don't know your background, but if you observe President George Manuel Weah, and then I'm from the Christian background, you compare him with Led or Joseph. I'm not saying he's Joseph. You'll notice that he carries extra grace.
Sometimes,
and
sometimes you want to agree with me that sometimes grace is not necessarily has to be because I'm say tied to you being a leader. People have grace differently. Sometimes you have the grace to become a servant. It doesn't necessarily mean that because you have grace, so you are ordained, you are destined to be a leader. You want to agree with me on that. But this is the point. You have established this group just a year to elections. People want to reconcile again that because elections is around the corner, you brilliant young men, sometimes you want to find a way to circumvent so that you could shake hands with the leaders, you sit with them and have a conversation. So what you do smartly, you play it, just organize a group, one or two times you gain recognition, and that's how you go away and get your own late in a labyrinth setting after elections process.
Let me respond to that quickly. Uh, I was on the cross show yesterday at Liberty Radio when they asked me the question as a radio, so who sponsor the opposition movement? And I was very clear. Our support to President Weah has nothing to do with sponsorship. That's the first thing. It centers around consciousness. Now, the issue of forming a group to get something, at which time we formed this group, in fact, this government has been going through series of financial constraints. You know that.
Mm-hmm. It doesn't take away the fact that you cannot be supported.
They have been going through series of financial constraints, and then you could see the okra, you could see the tension being created from the opposition community. You could see that. And from the opposition bloc, you think coming over the government is just something easy. Crossing over from the opposition community is just something easy. In fact, all your circle, everybody you deal, they are opposition because they are where you find yourself. Even sometimes your parents. So to just leave from there and come to government is not something that because they give you a little cash.
Do you have a membership card? Perhaps that the Unity Party can say yes, that you are from their party. He is from the party as well. I mean, are you a member? Are you a due-paying member of the Unity Party?
A due-paying member of the Unity Party. I am a member of the Unity Party, and before have been paying dues, except this particular government. When we started to sense the hypocrisy, we slowed down in engaging activities of the party because we did not see that potential. In fact, Unity Party, from all indication, I still remain a member of Unity Party, and from all indication, I can show you that I am not seeing the future of Unity Party beyond October.
You're not seeing the future.
I'm not even seeing the future.
Why do you say so?
Party beyond
Why
October.
do you say so?
Now,
What are you saying, sir?
let's look at the standard bearer. In Liberia, we all know that various political parties are surrounding individuals.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Madam Sally left Unity Party with her supporters. All of the loyal supporters of Madam Sally left the Unity Party when she left. You are a witness to that.
Go ahead, I'm fine.
Now, the next thing is Joseph Zuma Bwaga is the entire Unity Party is all about Joseph Zuma Bwaga right now. Look at the age of Joseph Zuma Bwaga. After 2023 election, let's assume that because in fact he has already lost the election. After this election, he will have no other time to contest again in Liberian politics, and I think this coming election will be his final election where he will be finally retired. So after that, look in Unity Party now and tell me who has the potential to sustain and maintain the population of Unity Party as it is now, to even maintain the structure after Madam Salif is gone. There is serious tension between Madam Salif and the party. Then Joseph Zuma Bwaga leave the stage. Who next? We are not seeing anybody next behind Joseph Bwaga that can sustain Unity Party. Those you see there, those are people who are not trusted. For instance, Mohamed Ali, somebody like Mohamed Ali, you really believe can hold Unity Party together in the absence of Joseph Zuma Bwaga?
This is a man that served. This is a man that served the party even at the time when you were, at the top. When you guys were member, you were due-paying member at the time, like you said. These are individuals you kind of point in terms of decision making. Why now that you have to take to this platform and want to denigrate them?
It's not a matter of denigrating, it's a matter of speaking out the truth. Now, Mo Ali in the past,
For how long did you keep this truth?
how long I kept this truth? Uh, the reason some of us did not raise issue at certain point in time because they were not key decision makers. At that time, we had the leg of women pay. We had several other individuals that were taking on the matter of authority when it comes to the party. Mo Ali came in at the diamond. The second term bit of mostly he became very active 2017 election. That's when Mo really became very active. So which truth really we needed to speak at that time. We were members of the party and we believed the ideology at that moment. And after the party left power, we believe that government is continuity, and we saw that zest and that enthusiasm in President Weah, the strength, the ability, the patriotism to actually move Liberia forward. And because of that, we follow him. We believe he is a godsend. You are speaking of leadership. You say, oh, there are some people who have grace, and that grace is just to be a follower. Which grace to be a follower? A grace to be a follower, and you become, you play football and become a world best. A world best is not a leader; he's a leader. African best isn't that a leader? He became a leader from there. A world leader, in fact. He became senator of this country. Isn't that being a leader? He was a leader. He took on leadership of the Liberian Lone Star. So George Weah has always been a leader. He did not just assume to the presidency on grounds that, oh, maybe there was some extra favor upon him, that's why he went there. He has always been a leader. He has always taken on leadership positions. People have given it to him on a merit basis. He earned it in the past. You know about that. So it's not because he just have.
We're going to move ahead. We have lots of issues to discuss. We don't want to dwell our argument on the past. Let's face the current realities. In terms of membership across which political institutions are your membership joined from, aside from the both of you from the Unity Party? You as an opposition, as an opposition movement, I believe you will want to mobilize across other opposition institutions. So you want to tell us where are your members joined from?
We have people from almost all political parties. We have people from the ANC. We have people from the Liberty Party. As you can see, I'm a member of Unity Party. He's a member of Unity Party as well. We have people from all PLP, and you just name them. So our membership is not restricted, and this is a national movement. We have people in various districts and various counties. As we speak, we have our Magibi chapter, and I mean, it is just a matter of us reaching out to the rest of the counties that we have not yet reached to establish cells there. But we have cells in almost every part of Montserrat, including Magibi and Bomi County.
In terms of number, how many members do you have? Our
membership, we have close to 1,005 to 2,000 membership.
2,005 membership.
Yes.
Is that number real?
It
How
is
how
real.
can we validate that?
We can provide you the data after here if you wish. The data you
That
provide.
that exactly for sure we will love to see,
Yes,
because these things are important. It helps inform the audience as to your strength in terms of an opposition figure. But let's move over to your vice chair of administration. The current the CDC, that's a Coalition of Democratic Change, has over 80 plus recognized auxiliaries that come together to support the re-election of President George Weah. Has your organization, the opposition movement for the re-election of President George Weah, been recognized amongst those auxiliaries?
Yes, indeed. We have gone through all of the steps to be recognized at the national level, and we attend meetings, and we are working. We are working day and night, as I would say. So everything regarding the party, we try to participate. So we are recognized, and right now, even you call.
So you mean, you are confirming to us that the national steering committee of the Coalition of Democratic Change recognize your institution as among the auxiliaries to the coalition?
Definitely.
Definitely, we can confirm that. Okay, as we move along, definitely we'll have to do it. One thing we have to do, basically, these are questions I will lead to our main discussion, folks. In terms, have you pledged your membership to the Coalition for Democratic Change? Perhaps you may be a member of the opposition bloc and just supporting President George Weah, or you are abandoning the opposition now and becoming a member of the CDC and supporting President George Weah. Which one of these may you hold on to?
At this movement, I speak as an individual, because you're asking me, right? My concern is not about a political institution. My concern has to do with this nation and its captain. I remain within the opposition community and give my fullest support to President George Manuel Weah. That's why we maintain the name the opposition movement for the re-election of President George Manuel Weah, because we believe that those within the CDCs, I mean, every institution have its own challenge. That is not my concern. My concern has to do with Liberia. My concern has to do with the next generation. My concern has to do with myself. And with all of the candidates that have
Express
interest, there is no one better than President George Manuel Weah. It's clear, it's glaring. The work are there. The evidence are vivid. You don't need a rocket scientist to tell you where to go. My decision has to do with Liberia, because all I have is this nation.
Why do you think the CDC will take you serious, Mr. Chairman? Because this is the thing, you are abandoning your party at the time the party needs you the most. Now you go in to the guys that are already leaking away, right, in our setting. So why do you think the CDC will be taking you as a serious group?
No, and that is very easy. The thing is that we're not coming with the mindset that immediately you will take me serious. I'm coming with the mindset that I will contribute to the process. I will contribute to the growth and development of my country. I have something genuine to contribute to the process. And based upon my contribution, you must take me serious. We will make them to take us serious. It's not because we come in there to make it that automatically they have to. You cannot control the mind of individuals. People will think negatively, but your action is what push them to actually accept the fight. For example, President Weah took on Liberia. When people thought he could not handle the gap of authority, when he took on the presidency, many of us feel that he will fail, right? But gradually his action has proven beyond all reasonable doubt that he has the ability to transform this country. So the same way, when you cross over to another political party, you don't expect them to take you serious automatically. But then the way your conduct, your movement, your contribution to the process will make them to understand that indeed somebody has come to add on to the process rather than just being an ordinary member.
Indeed, there are over 15 opposition political parties in Liberia. If you want to do a very critical look at them, are you confirming to us on this program that across all of the opposition figures in this country, no one is qualified, no one has the potential to represent Liberia aside from President George Weah? Because remember, when you were in opposition, your biggest worry, your biggest opposition at the time was President George Weah. It's a matter of more than you guys get them off. Why is it now that among the legs of the names popping up, the Cummins, the Taiwan Gonglo, you want to name the MDR or the Joseph Yumon Buck and the rest of the guys? Are you confirming to amongst all of them, no one has what it takes to represent or to lead Liberia?
Now, here is the fight. Now, President George Manuel Weah has the gab of authority. what those individuals think they can do is what we are seeing president we are doing. All right. So I believe there should be no change when the present president is already delivering. Once you're delivering the goods for the Liberian people, I see no need for change in power. That's what we're saying. That's our argument. You understand? If I am to support Joseph Boaga because of developmental initiatives, and I'm seeing president, we are undertaking those developmental initiatives, why should I push for a change of government? That's what we want. That's the first thing. Then the next thing is that let's look at some of those leaders. Let's look at a level of sincerity. Now, Alexander Cummings, for instance, from the ANC. Alexander Cummings has always been in the media and well known for lobbying against the government. You
And
understand?
evidence to prove to that.
Several news agencies have brought information on
Sometimes,
Alexander Cummings.
sometimes it is the same very CDC folks that go about spreading fake news about the opposition because that's tend to be corrected. There is no account that proves that coming when calling for negative thing against the Liberia. Every time you listen to him, he will tell you that in all of our undertakings, the good of Liberia is what we strive for.
It has been glaring. It has been glaring.
How do we defend that?
When Cummings and the rest of the opposition leaders took letter to the U.S. Embassy, to the European Union.
And that is normal. Even the CDC that you are supporting at the time when they were in opposition, they did the same. They took letter, which of course every opposition group will want to do. If you feel that there are things in the country that are wrong, and you think that the government is failing to settle it, you can seek the intervention
This is
of
why
the
we're
international
saying
community.
the intervention they were seeking, it was not because, something is wrong. They were saying that if you have any support for this government, we are asking that you hold the support because they will squander the funding when you give it to them.
Was that wrong?
Yes, of course.
How?
It was
how
wrong.
that wrong?
Now,
How do you defend
somebody have 6 years term. Now, you have the Liberian people, the suffering Liberian masses. They have 6 years term. And you say that the international community and other international partners should hold back every funding from the government. Isn't that lobbying against the states? That's what we're saying. So, when we say insincerity, that's what we're talking about.
Another argument could surface to that discussion is this. Perhaps it is an understanding that I'll assume the presidency in the next 6 years, right? In the next election, after the next election. So if I allow this to persist, where donor, because government is continuity, that's the understanding about government. So you want to agree with me that in an instance where donors continue to put money into Liberia, and after the 6 years, right? If he's not elected, and the donors want to do a retry, follow and see that a lot of money was sent to Liberia, but this money was squandered. So because of that, the whole support to that country, it happens, right? Because of that, the opposition might be cognizant of that and say, hey, we think there is a need that since you continue to fund the country and we don't see the worth of the money, hold on to the money because if we get in power, this might haunt us. I mean,
was that the view of the ordinary Liberian?
That's how the opposition figure must see.
You can have few opposition leaders coming together and making decisions and think that it stands for every Liberian out there. Those in Bokonjila, those in Duta,
self-motivated decision.
Those back in Grand Bassa. Did you engage them? Did you ask them as of whether you should write that letter? If you think that you really want to represent those people, did you engage them? Did you ask them? No, they did not engage our people. They did not even inquire anything. They don't reach those issues to the people. They just sit somewhere at the top and make decisions and reach to international community and begin to lobby against the states. That's what's the trickle-down effect? A trickle-down effect would be now that the ordinary suffering masses who did not even know about your decision you took will be suffering because of what you already sent out there, the singular you sent out there already. That's what we're saying. So those are some of the hypocrisy that we saw.
Aside from comments.
Yes, those are some of the hypocrisy.
Aside from comments, let's look at
now. Let's look at let's look at the
Councillor
political.
Tewangu say.
No,
Let's look at other names that are popping up.
Yes, let's
Because
look
one
at
of the reasons,
Tewangu. Okay,
one
let's
one
go
of
to-
the reasons why I asked you this question
Yes.
is that I'm part of the Unity Party, an example. And if I see what I'm supporting the Unity Party to achieve, I don't see anyone in the Unity Party that hold that charisma and that could deliver all my expectation. Before running to the
Tewangu,
ruling establishment,
let me speak on
right?
Tewangu.
Before running to the ruling establishment, I want to look within our cycle as to who amongst our cycle that I can still be trusting, so I can deliver on my expectation. I believe you guys failed to do so.
Mr. Gonglos,
I believe you guys failed to not look around the opposition.
We did. Mr. Gonglo's argument is something that we just cannot follow. You understand? The man is talking about making Liberia corruption free. How possible could that be? Even when Jesus Christ came down, people were carrying on corruption. Where Jesus was preaching corruption message, people were carrying on corruption. Look, it is not possible that 100% you whip out corruption from any environment. When you say things that are impossible, then we question your sincerity. That's the issue. We question your sincerity when you have broom in his hand going around and you will sweep. Look, those. Let me say those are all
it is a
myths.
statement. It is a statement before your vice chair comes in. It is a statement. It doesn't speak to the fact that corruption will be 100% executed. Today, if you have a conversation with Councillor Gonglo, he tells you that we're going to sweep corruption out of Liberia. It is a statement that explains that corruption will be very scarce in Liberia. It won't be exposed as the way it is being exposed under the WIAS administration.
But we're not saying-
It baffles someone that you, from the opposition, all of the corrupt practices endured by the WIAS administration, that you have blinded your eyes on it as well.
We're not seeing corruption being exposed as they are presenting it.
Why 3 of your officials were sanctioned?
3 officials were sanctioned. Yes, listen.
If you say that it is not exposed,
Yes.
as the way they are seeing it, why you
As
think
they are presenting
3 officials of your government were sanctioned? Why you think ladies' boss has to be disbased? I mean, all of these things you want to point to.
That okay? You are talking about Lege's boss.
I'm
Now,
just setting an example.
yes.
right,
Now
that will
let's
drive
look at the
us-
example that you just said. You just said dismiss, right? They seem zero tolerance
That's
to
just dropping.
corruption.
That's just dropping the ocean.
No,
You don't
they
wanna-
seem zero tolerance to corruption that you are discussing. That's the same thing for the fact that he was dismissed. That is a positive action by the president. So if somebody else comes to tell us that they are going to do more than what President we are doing to fight corruption, and they are going to make Liberia 100% free of corruption, with all of the fight, Madam Sirleaf came to Liberia and pronounced to the Liberian people that corruption is going to be a major public enemy. Under her regime, corruption still took over the government. That doesn't mean she could not fight corruption, but we're just saying that there are certain things that you can only minimize. But if you make us believe that you can whip it out 100%, and we have seen various governments around the world who have tried their best and they have never whipped out corruption
You want to
in their
record
society.
you want to record in 2018, in January of 2018. The same very government now that you're supporting made a commitment that they're going to fight corruption, so that corruption is not an excuse as to why you take away what belongs to the Liberian people.
Yes.
Today we have you have a conversation across Liberia. Liberians are complaining. One of the sectors that have been rounded under this administration, in terms of very corrupt, is the education sector. By far most, the Constitution provides that the education sector, as per the Constitution, should provide quality and standardized education for all Liberian children. But today, the education system sector, there are multiple reports that prove that the education sector is one of the corrupt sectors in Liberia. How do you justify that?
Yes, those are, for me, I would say those are vague allegations. At times you do fight funny, right? Now, Liberia is a third world country. You don't expect to have the educational system in Nigeria to exist in Liberia at this moment. In fact, when we come to modernization, the 5 stages of modernization, according to W.W. Rostow, I can tell you that Liberia is still at pre-condition to take off. So you see that we just left a traditional stage, and we are at a precondition to take off. Nigeria is already at the takeoff stage. Now, comparing the educational system presently and wanting it to be exactly how those other countries in the Western world look, that it will be very difficult. It is something that have to be a gradual process, and we are driving towards that. Now, let's look at the educational sector presently in Liberia. The first of its kind, President Weah has pronounced to this country a tuition-free University of Liberia, which have never existed. The very group of university students you see taking onto the street and discussing corruption are the very students who benefit from President Weah's pronouncement. You see in Liberia for the first of its kind, because there are several oaths that President Weah faced as a president. Now, the economic situation is very, bad, to the extent that parents do not have the funding to even pay WAS fees at time. And this is Africa. It's not just restricted to Liberia. This is Africa. Almost everywhere you'll find that. So on that ground, he always found means to alleviate those tensions. What he did, he looked at students who have been struggling to pay WAS fees, and he said every student in Liberia who is taking WAS should now go and take that WAS free of charge. The government take full responsibility. That have been the first of it. Can't.
Definitely, we must admit.
You understand? So, looking at the educational sector, and you see other people say, oh, the educational sector is corrupt and is that. Listen, sometimes some of the allegations, when proven beyond all reasonable doubt in a competent court of jurisdiction,
that's
then
when you're going to
we take it as a fight.
We're going to leave that conversation right there. We don't want to do it argument. We'll move to the vice chair for administration. You control the administration of your organization. It is my understanding that you understand the day-to-day running of administration. Let's look at the George Weah government in terms of how the president goes about his role played, right, in the various sectors across our country. Do you think President George Weah is an administrator?
Yes, indeed.
How do you defend that?
President George Manuel Weah is an administrator because he's a man that doesn't just sit behind his desk. For instance, just yesterday, you saw him on the field after lobbying with a panel across the sub-region. To be precise, America, the UAE, and he came. He didn't even go to his office. He landed straight on the field and then was in full gear supporting his boss. And he used a word. He didn't give the Liberian people a promise that yes, we're going to turn water into wine. He said the best team going to take the victory. All we need is to support our boys to the full years. That's to tell you that he's willing to even go down the ghetto to encourage those our brothers and sisters that believe that it doesn't have hope. That's what an administrator does. An administrator gave it a hope to believe in yourself. And that's why today you are seeing a young Liberian that fast forwarding their education, pushing towards positivity, seeing how best they can contribute towards the nation positively. He's not a leader that is just sitting, yes, and placing phone calls here, there. He moved from one end to another. That's why you see his convoy. It's not just at the morning hour and the evening, but even at night, you hear his convoy moving from one end to another. Not just hearing the convoy, but into places that you will see. These are men that go down to the lowest man, to the lowest woman, to the younger boys. The lady that even sell paper cutter to ask how her market going on.
Go ahead.
Brother, tell me, in this war, who does such thing?
Sometimes you want to look at the living condition of Liberians. Today, you have an auxiliary of the coalition. You are forming part of an auxiliary of the coalition of democratic change. Have you had the time to go across Liberia to speak with your fellow opposition members as to their living condition under the Williams administration. I believe before you want to have such an organization established, at times you want to go aside from you, maybe perhaps your level of thinking, how you analyze the government and what have you. You want to go down in Maryland, you want to go in mind bombing in different parts of Liberia and sample the views of your federal opposition members as to their day-to-day living condition under the Weah's administration, and come back and do an analysis as to whether your support to George Weah is actually deserved.
Like my chairman previously stated, we do not believe in red checks. I will tell you that we have not been to those various places, but we have been in other countries. We have placed phone calls. We have listened to radio.
Which one of the countries have you visited since you established this movement?
Bipolo. I've been in Bipolo of recent.
What did the people in Bipolo tell you?
The first of its kind, the Emory Hospital. The people of Bipolo, they don't understand politics to that extent. All they know is President Weah. President Weah is the Jesus in Liberia. How will you understand me from a political point of view?
Yeah, I'm following.
Before the end of this week, I'll be in Lofa, engaging the people, hearing from them, because you know Lofa is
politically charged.
Now it's a battleground. We'll be there listening to our brothers and sisters. I sit there and what's unfolding. How do you see this nation? Our concern is not about individual. Our heartbeat is Liberia. President Weah can live today. President Weah is established. His children are established. He's a father.
It is 15 out of 14. It is 1 out of. It is 1 out of 15 counties. I want to draw the point. It is 1 out of 15 counties. You just mentioned Bapolo. You just mentioned Bapolo that you went to, and perhaps your account that you gave, because today I have had a time of recent to visit almost all of the counties in Liberia. Today you enter Bapolo. I don't want to doubt your account you providing, because I don't know from where you speak. But today you enter Bapolo, there are many accounts today that have been to tell you as to how their living condition is challenging. There are towns in Bapolo, the education system your chairman spoke of. There are schools in Bapolo that on the issue of even having teachers still remains a challenge. There are schools in Bapolo where government institutions where a single teacher controls the entire school. These are challenges confronting the people.
Yes.
So today, if you take to such a national platform and want to use Bapolo as a case study just because of the Emory Hospital, which is just being dedicated, not in use as we speak, then it raises concern as per your patriotism to Liberia.
Yes, let me come in.
Go ahead.
When it comes to that, let's look at the issue of the educational sector. People, some schools have no teachers and all. Those are circumstances that exist in most underdeveloped countries presently. I'm a student attending Jala University in Sierra Leone, a country where almost all the opposition always mention, Madabio in Sierra Leone and all this stuff, the country is developed. And look, I'm from there. Liberia and Sierra Leone, I can show you, there's no big difference. It's like 6 and 7. Now, you have schools in Sierra Leone that you won't even believe that there are schools there that the Sierra Leonean students are sitting on block, not just the concrete block, but the one that is made of mud. They sit on that particular block in the classroom. Those are challenges that Africa is faced with, not Liberia. Africa as a whole. Even in Nigeria, haven't you seen where you have students crossing a river and they falling in the water? Some of them, they go to school in Kino. Those Kinos have to cross them for a very long distance before they go in their school. And even the very school they go into, you see dilapidated building. You understand? So those are challenges faced by Africans. It's a
We-
it's a
we wanna
general, it's
limit
a
the discussion to
continental issue.
Liberia.
So I don't want us now.
Let us limit the discussion.
No,
to
I'm
that.
just telling
One
you,
of the reasons why
to-
I
to
brought
think
that
that-
case
to
out,
think- to-
right,
yes,
is this.
to-
Because every time I have a conversation with those of you supporting government, you want to mention about the free tuition policy. You want to mention about the payment of wise fee, which of course is a good one. We cannot erase the fact that it is helping Liberia. But it doesn't in a way substantiate, say, sustained an education system when you need qualified individuals to impart knowledge in skills. When you need surplus of manpower, right, so that they can invest their time in educating those kids. These are areas that build a system. Listen, the system can be free. People go there, nothing to see at the end time. Trust me, parents will not be taking our children from the government school and sending them to. All right.
Or are you now telling me that the University of Liberia doesn't have qualified lecturers? Is that what you're saying?
Perhaps you want to confirm with to me on this program. I said I didn't say so, but I'm setting a case that I particularly want to look at the junior high schools, the senior high school, where we obtained our education, our primary, secondary education from. Like the case I cited with him from Bapolo. I mean, we have our correspondence in all of those counties. Every day, the report from the various counties, you listen to that.
Now, what I'm trying to say here is that when I ask you the question as of whether you want to insinuate whether the University of Liberia doesn't have qualified teachers, the reason I asked that question,
I say the University of Liberia, I don't have.
The reason I asked that question is they have something called action steps towards situations, right? President Weah took an action step. That action step was to say tuition-free University of Liberia. Now, at the University of Liberia, teachers have been trained. You agree with me?
Go ahead and
Now,
listen to you.
that alone encourages people to enroll those who did not have the ability to enter the University of Liberia. Teachers who are supposed to be in Babolu teaching those students are now entering University of Liberia to get prepared and qualified to go there and teach them.
And that's after 4 years.
It's a gradual process. Development is not. Okay, for instance, the very opposition that we're discussing here were in power for 12 years. They did not provide that opportunity. But President Weah saw the academic challenge in his country, and that's why he made that pronouncement. That pronouncement has several trickle-down effects. And one is just the issue of training of teachers, training other professionals that will go in various sectors of the country to perform, to help the development process of our country. And that's why because he knew the University of Liberia is the mitochondria of education. So because of that, he must provide the avenue and encourage people to attend.
We want to go to the phone lines now quickly before we move on. We are supporting a government where there are protests every day, every morning, in terms of the waves of mysterious killings, the passing of Liberians, Liberians complain of the lack of justice in this country. How do you view the justice system or on the we as government, which an opposition figure of yours is supporting such a government?
Now, when we discuss the justice system, and I see people saying that the justice system is not strong, sometimes it just gets me weak because the very opposition, every issue pertaining to them, they run to the court, they run to the Supreme Court. You understand? On several occasions, the Supreme Court has ruled. Because in fact, when we had the CPP, when the CPP had issues, where did they go? They went to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court was able to handle that particular issue for them. Today, in fact, it was from there that the CPP laws ceased. You know, and I know for some period of time, there was a series of tension in CPP. The Supreme Court handled that particular case. Today, you notice that there have been no more issue of, Baga want to be head of the CPP, Kumis want to be here. That issue was resolved. So that is just one instance. I'm just giving that as an example. But several occasions, people run to the court here and they got redress. So to tell me that the justice system, and I mean, it just bravo somebody. Of course, every system will have some problem one way or the other. It exists. But then you cannot look at few instances and just say, oh, the justice system is weak because I have not seen that. They killing. You are talking about killing
some mysterious
people, mysterious killing and all this. Listen, let's just look at other countries around us.
We want to limit our discussion to Liberia. Every
No,
time we have
but
this discussion where you
we
want
have-
to skip,
we have some issues. No, we have some issues. There are some-
Listen,
there
if
are
you want to
some-
establish a discussion now, then it seems that you are scapegoating the discussion.
No, I'm not
Because this is-
scapegoating.
No, but that's it.
There are some
We
issues.
focus our conversation,
For instance,
right, on Liberia. The
Yes.
case that George we are saying going to take over and help solve the solution of Liberia, not Africa. So our discussion, let's focus on Africa. You see, if we want to come to the discussion, and every time we want to use the situation in Ghana, in Nigeria, and other parts of the country to establish our discussion,
brother,
then we will be
on several
we'll be deceiving
occasions,
the people.
on several occasions, those oppositions that you're discussing, when they are discussing, they always compare Liberia to other countries. So why, when we're discussing the issue, can't we make mention of the situation as it's in those
gonna
countries
take calls.
as well?
We're going to take calls. I've been notified that our second set of guests is already here. We'll take free calls, Liberian 0770 907 907, 0880 907 907 are the numbers to call. We have for the opposition movement for the re-election, President George. You listen to them. Good evening.
Hello.
Yeah, you live. Let's hear you.
Yeah, I'm Jerry Johnson.
Jerry,
No problem.
quickly, let's hear you.
Yeah, have you got me clear?
You are live, Jerry. Go ahead.
The so-called free tuition that the president declared for the university
No,
abroad.
Jerry, we can entertain you. The fact remains that there are other Liberians benefiting from it. You don't call it so-called. That's been disrespectful. We take this person. Good evening. You want to address the issue very moderately. That's a sense of discussion on this platform. Good evening. It seems I've lost that person. We'll take this one. Good evening.
Hello,
You live. The name where you called from.
this is Baji from Makaba from Johnsonville.
Let's hear you, my brother, quickly.
Yeah, you know, just like you are saying, the justice system actually is not correct in this country, but the better in the studio, you always compare.
It seems that we lost him. We'll take this one from this end. Good evening.
Good evening.
Quickly, let's hear you.
Okay, thank you for your topic on our discussion this evening. You know, I'm so frustrated to listen to those young men in studio there saying things that I don't know whether they want to create their own platform to give favor for the ruling establishment government. Seeing the youth in this country, the kind of suffering that people going through, the way you see the guys are completely banned down to drugs in this country, coming out to say things are fine. You know, they are now opposition. These guys, they are just division over there, but they just want to make themselves to look like they are opposition. But that cannot scale up. We are prepared and we will go around and engage our youth and make them to understand.
Thank you. We take this person. Good evening.
Good evening.
Quickly, let's hear you, my brother.
Good evening.
Quickly, let's hear you.
Yeah, I'm Abbott Brian. What I do call from up Mama Point.
Go ahead.
And my attention has been drawn to the education sector that the former studio express on for which is separate we are, as prioritas.
Quickly, let's hear you.
And my question is, what is prioritization of education in the context of quantitative measures? Where you prioritize education, you say you declare free tuition at the turn in the first place. Yes, you have heard the word increase the budget in the first abroad from 16 million at least above. Because we know that if our person want to do a policy, everything at certain area must have your achievement. For every policy you want to, execute, you have your achievement. That was great.
Thank you. We can't keep it for long. Too many calls. Good evening.
Hello?
Good evening.
Yeah, I'm Vanny. This is calling from Makawe.
Go ahead, Fanny.
I appreciate yesterday, guys. I'm sure they are on the right trajectory to join the coalition. I applaud them, and I love how they understand again because when opposition discussing the government, they always mention our neighboring country. So why not the country?
Good evening. Good evening.
Yeah, this is Lloyd D. Johnson, physician by loyalty, and I join you from District Number 11, Quebec
Let's
Community.
hear you.
Yeah, I just want to say to your senior guests, they are welcome. They are made in red trust. This is a red time that many need to come over because there will be no seat. There will be no seat for those that will come for latecomers. If you will come late, there will be no seat for
There
you.
will be no seat for latecomers. This person would wait 10 minutes after 8. We call a segment of day to tell our second set of guests. Good evening.
Good evening to you, my brother.
I'm doing great. I say you.
Thank you. My name is Sheikh Biggie Jr. and I join you from Banavik, Jarvis Market, District Number 12, as usual.
Sheikh,
thank you, my brother journalist. Let me say this. It is often said that a child that refused to drink from a cup of experience, you will die in a desert of ignorance. I'm listening to your studio guest saying that why is it that you should vote for Joseph Boakai because the service that you're supposed to provide for the Liberia, that the same service Georgia is providing. No, my brother, you really got it wrong. That is the service that Georgia is providing for the Liberia is not the service that Joseph Boakai wants to provide for us. Number one, you said the service that Georgia is providing. Now there's injustice all around the country. No rule of law. And Georgia moving for you to go in Qatar for 48 days. No account swinging. It is not the kind of leadership that Joseph Boakai.
Thank you. We'll take this person. Good evening. 2 more calls. We get back to our studio guest.
How you doing, my brother?
Let's hear you.
Yeah, my name is Peter C.W. Pan, the Great, and I join you from LPRC, Ghana's.
Go ahead.
Hello?
Go ahead.
Yeah, more especially from the disabled community. Let me tell my brother in the studio there, not because maybe they're getting 1 or 2 cents from President Weah administration, but this country, especially with the disabled people, we are not really treated well. Some of us, we are educated. We expect ourselves to 6 years now. I've been doing volunteer job. Many people, no employment for all the only thing the government can do, you are going to say, come in and give us on the package, beverage with $5,000. It's an insult to us.
Thank you. We take this person will be our last caller. Good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
Quickly, let's hear you.
Yeah, this is Charles Cooper. I call from Killingsburg. Let me say thank you to your guest, but I just wanted to make some professional correction. I did hear him speak that is the mitochondrion of the educational sector. I just wanted to correct that. You see, my brother, I'm a student of education. I did education. I got my BSc in education. And the University of Liberia, tertiary education cannot be the mitochondrion or powerhouse of education.
Thank you. We take this person. Thanks for the record. The correction. This will be our last. We just have to squeeze it. The lance can stop. This is what happened. Good evening.
Good evening. How you doing?
Let's hear you.
Okay, I'm Prince. We're calling from district number 10, which is the Devil Lord Maker district.
Prince, go ahead.
Okay, I listened to one of our brothers discussing corruption. You know what makes corruption rampant in this country now? It's because the past government has been protecting, they have been covering corruption, they've been protecting it, they've been keeping it to themselves. Not within the president, we are led government where you have corruption has been exposed. You can point out to many individuals that President Weah had actually take action to when it comes to corruption, even the people within his camp. So the government is doing well. We appreciate President Weah and we're supporting comes 2023 again.
Thank you very much. We're not taking any more calls. Yeah, we have to leave this section. Our next set of guests is already out. Gentlemen, you listen to the callers quickly in next 1 to 2 minutes. Let's hear you. You could respond to some of
Yes,
the
quickly. Let me just respond to 2 issues and I can give a parting comment. Now, the first issue has to do with the guy who called saying that Liberia, the University of Liberia cannot be the mitochondria. Now, you did education. I know what you are trying to do. You are trying to discuss basic education. First, let me inform you that I graduated from Jala University Teachers College, and I'm presently doing political science through education at Jala University. That's the first thing. Now, education at the University of Liberia, you have trained and qualified young men and women coming from there that goes back to the slum to train your children, to teach your kids at the primary level. That's what make the Universal Liberia the mitochondria. That's one. And the next thing, somebody talk about Joseph Boakai leadership, because I said that the same leadership that he wants. I did not even say the same thing. I just said, it was an instance. I was just giving an example. If, for instance, Joseph Boakai wants to come to power because he wants to carry on development, roll, and I see President we are carrying on roll, I must support President we are for the roll because it was the same thing I was following Joseph Boakai for. That's why I said. And the next thing, you discussing Joseph Boakai, Joseph Newman Boakai could be good today, tomorrow and could be bad. You can never determine the future characteristic
we ought to get
of
to
an
the guys
individual.
To your parting comment.
Yes, now,
we'll begin with the vice chair. Let's begin with the vice chair. And you will close up on. You listen to all of the callers. Let's just hear you. What's your final message to the Liberian people and those of your the members of your organization, the final rate?
Thank you once more. You know, this society rewrite history in a specific bias environment that every government is bad. Until that government is gone, there's a saying that say you won't know the importance of the well unless that well is dry. My brother, the president we had, government that we have today, our people from the opposition bloc that have yet to recognize the importance of the government. Trust me, after 6 years from now, when President Weah is gone, they will definitely cry and wish for President Weah to go for a third term. But constitutionally, he will respect our constitution that he have done over the past year, and there will be no chance for them. So I'm calling on every meaningful Liberian to do all they can to vote President George Manneh. And by doing so, I'm asking them, we don't have much time because the registration process is in 2 phases. The current phase will be ending April 9. Every meaningful Liberian that has reached the above, I'm asking them to go to the nearby registration center to do all they can to register the vote. Because
and then we're going to leave right there. We get to your chairman quickly. Let's wrap up with you.
Yes,
what's the final message
quickly to our Liberian people. I would tell you that Ambassador Boakai would have done all of those things during the administration of Madam Ellen Johnson Sirleaf for the past 12 years. He did not contribute nothing to Liberian people, and he shouldn't come at this time claiming to be injured that he will develop Liberia. So the next thing is that I want to encourage every well-meaning Liberian to go to the queue and register for the process in October. Your vote is your power, and the only way you will be allowed to vote is to register. Please go and register so that we can give President Weah a resounding one-round victory.
Indeed, folks, they have been our guests on the second and final segment of the show right there. This is Issues. That's on the first segment. Sorry, folks. On the first set of our guests, they are officials of the opposition movement for the re-election of President Weah. You listen to them. They point to lots of issues why they think as opposition bloc is supporting President George Weah. We'll go for this break. Once we return in the second and final segment of the show, where the Islamic affairs of the Coalition for Democratic Change will be on this platform. We discuss basically issues surrounding the biometric voter registration exercise and how has it been observed across the country, especially in relations to the way Muslims, the different ways Muslims, the challenges Muslims are faced with as the process goes on, folks. So go for this break. Toby Redbag. This is Issues of Today. issues we're going to look at under discussion. The National Elections Commission is rolling out the biometric voter registration exercise. This is the first time it has been introduced in Liberia. We want to begin a conversation from an individual experience. Maybe you want to give us, if you have been to any center before, whether you have registered, how the process is. You care to give us, an understanding of what you observed. To begin from the far end, then you want to tell us whether you have registered, if yes, how was the process like before we come to the main issue of our discussion.
Okay, thank you so much. Why I accept because I registered already, but why I accept to somebody sent us we doing the registration. We actually want for the government to help us. Our oldest ones, they should really give them the time because sometimes the woman will go over there, she don't know how to speak good English. And you know some of our parents, they are believe in this dialect issue. So coming around people to just speak the English, it gives them so difficult time, and our people will not be patient with them. And we're asking our people, this is the holy month. Most of the women, you know, they basic in the kitchen, taking care of the home, especially the type of time here. So the hour they will leave for them to go to their registration, sometimes they deny them. So I really want to beg the government to give all time, let it extend the time, that all our people be able to register.
When you went to register, what are some of the challenges you faced? Some people go to register, there are different accounts. Other people tell you that the process took long, to get their ID card printed. Different, some people said they were asked a lot of questions, sometimes if you don't want to answer the question, differently as per your own as an individual, the center you want to register. What are some of the things you were faced with?
Okay, some of the challenges was the line were long and they were taking people, and they were standing on one line. And when I told the guy, the security guy out there, I said, no, we should give the older people one line. The pregnant women, the baby mothers, we should give them one line. And the police guy out there, he refused.
Okay.
I said, no, but it can't work. I left from on my line. I decided to raise an issue. I said, but then, on soon talk tonight, I will raise the thing up. And I had the other guy that was behind the camera, and I said, no, sister, come and call me on your other side. I said, no, he was here to mind people. In fact, the uniform on him, he dared to save life and property. Now I'm showing him the area that will make the process easier, and he said, no, he can't listen to me. So it means that I must say I will not take it easy with him. I bound G there, just for him to give the older people, because just imagine when they sit, they will be tired and they will wake up and go sit elsewhere under the house. So I left. I said, no, it can't work like that. Another guy came and said, okay, we'll see how best to really deal with your point that you're raising. I said, fine. I left my line because I said I would not register, but I would be here and make sure that the older women are over there, they have to register. I had they created another line for them. And the old people, the pregnant women, the baby mothers, and the single people were over there. But most of our young folks, they could not understand why I was speaking up, because everybody want register.
Definitely, that's the situation.
Yeah.
We move to the bread. I'm confident that you have registered.
Yeah, indeed.
You want to tell us your own experience?
Yes, I did my registration in Clarendon. But actually, the registration is challenging. Most especially when you go, they will tell you their machine is down and what have you. But those things are machine, So we understand from that point. But some of the point that our people will arrive at the center, despite considering that we are in the holy month of Ramadan, they will take their own precious time to get to the centers to see how best that they can work to exercise their franchise. When they get around there to give the people the opportunities and do their restrictions, if you go when you are Camara, you are Barry, in fact, they will haul you from the land, giving you a lot of instructions, where you came from, what your name, what your father is from. And most of those people, they are in possession of the past registration card. They have their passport. They have their national ID card. So many of them, They will present it to the people at the centers, and they will deny them for restrictions. Sometimes they will call us, we go, we intervene, we talk to them for them to see reason and do their restrictions. So these are challenges around. Like for district number 12, we were around there before yesterday, things went crazy. So we have to talk to our people and talk to the people at the centers to give our people the opportunities, to carry on their restrictions. So I had to call my chairman, Chairman Soare, Mohammed A. Soare, in one of the points. He is the chairman for the Islamic affair. So he has to come there to talk to the people to see reason how best that people can do their restrictions. Also, the time frame with the restrictions.
That of which we're going to come to. I just want to get your
Thank you.
Move to I hope I'll get familiar with the name as we move along. But I believe you have registered as well.
For me, I have not yet registered yet because I had my midterm and looking at the holy month of Ramadan, the smaller time I have to go on campus, from campus go home, make sure prepare food for my family. So I just did it online, but I've not gone yet to print it out because when you do the stuff online, they will tell you to go to where you gave your information from, then you will go stand on the line and show your phone. When I don't know how to take it really because I have not done it. It's scanned on my phone, but I have not printed it yet. But I've been going because the past time when at the headquarters of the CDC, we had a few meetings where I saw people going to go do their registration, and we had a lot of people looking at the line, and but we have people from the Muslim grouping that are really complaining about the process.
And this is what exactly we were driving at now. That the main reason you came over is because of this Islamic community as a whole, to the Muslim community. Like you said, there are a lot of concerns being raised as the process goes along. You care to outline some of these concerns, some of these complaints that continue to come to you individuals, especially from your folks in the Muslim community as a whole.
Yeah. Some of the issues that have been raised by our people, because we as leaders, we supposed to speak for them. When they fall short, we can take it from there. And we are not coming up in a violent way or going against our government or trying to politicize this process. All we want is whatever right that is given to XYZ should also be given to the Muslim community, because your last name can determine your nationality, as I believe, because they got Johnson from Nigeria, they got Johnson from Liberia, they got Johnson from Sierra Leone, they got Johnson from Africa. So if a person tell you that I'm Kamara, then definitely you conclude that person is from Guinea, then we take it all the way around, because our people need to be respected. That's why we are in the holy month of Ramadan. Yet and still, because we are peaceful and loving citizens, we decided to do or talk to our people to go through the registration process, and they are trying all their possible best to do it. You will see our mothers, our sisters to be standing online in the morning to evening hour, only to go in front of those people that are responsible to register them. Then they will tell you, okay, especially you don't, yes, no, our Muslim community, our parents are not educated. They educate their children. So why in case, because they are not speaking English well, so you try to put them aside and question them. And we see it as intimidation. And we will post stop to it. We urge our government, we urge our party to intervene in this process.
Someone want to argue with you on this point, that the folks at the centers are not in no area. And the fact remains that if you go and call the name, perhaps they are doubtful. No, I must say, it is wrong for them to ask you follow questions to establish where exactly whether you are Liberian or not. I mean, I'm trying to understand that point. That if I go to a center, for instance, and I'm Johnson, and perhaps the guy that's taking care of that process says, "Where are you from?" Because I'm not clear with your name. I believe that he or she is doing their job of which they are paid to do. It is their responsibility now to answer that person. I don't see it to be any problem.
We don't have problem with the registrar asking those kind of questions because you can't see a person and determine whether they are Liberian or not without asking them. We embrace the questions. Our point is looking at our society or our community. You don't have most of our mothers speaking English in their homes. Normally in our homes, they speak dialects. So our parents don't really speak that kind of English. And in speaking on asking further questions like asking for national ID or passport. Our parents don't go for national ID or passport if they don't have traveling situation on hand. Normally, you see those that can go for passport, those that can go to banks, those that have document to process. But if my mother is only there to sell bitter and pepper, nobody bothering her. Why would she go running to pay for national ID or passport? So we don't have question with the question they asked. But if I tell you that I'm a Liberian, okay, my name is Kamara, and you take it differently, like you put me aside and try to question me beyond like things that I can't understand, then I see it like intimidation.
Sometimes someone want to come out, and I want to come to the gentleman to answer this question.
Yeah, let me. Okay.
I'm coming in that perhaps you may give them to be Kamara, for instance. Let's use Kamara as
a case study. Okay. Yes.
So if I tell you that your name is Kamara, and because you understand that Kamara also comes from Guinea, right?
Yeah.
Kamara comes from all African countries.
Yeah, let's go out with the Johnson
and the rest of the name.
And the rest of the
So that polling staff, that voter registration staff feels the need to ask you as to can you provide a follow document? Validates that you are Liberian. Because remember, that the Elections Commission had informed us that if in an instance where there are doubts about whether you are Liberian, there are documents should be asked for that will prove that you are a Liberian.
Good.
I mean, so if you're failing to provide that document, do you think you should still be allowed to register?
No, you see, it depends. Or speaking English, it's not a guarantee to anybody for you to be a Liberian. I want you to get that.
I would agree with you.
Right? Okay, no. So if I'm a Camara, I have appeared at the centers to do my registrations. Then you come over, you want to ask me, interrogating me, oh, where you from, where your father is from. Sometimes it can be irritating. Maybe someone will just walk to you because that they feel like, you are foreigners. Like for example, if you are doubting me to be a Liberian, fine. And if I have a past voting registration card, I present it to you and still doubting me. It's crazy. Then you ask me for a national identification card. I present it to you. Like for example, Amadou Barry at district number 12. Day before yesterday, they presented everything. But still, there was still a doubt. So it sounds so crazy that if I appear in front of you as a Johnson, and you know that already as well. Johnson is a plantation name. It's now an African name. So if I have appeared in front of you, I'm a Liberian, I'm Kamara, I'm Keita, I'm Data, At least you give me that leverage. At least you give me that leverage. So if you that, I present all the documents to you. I think I should be. In fact, you should applaud me for it. But suddenly you see, if they will not even talk to you again, they will only ask you to come tomorrow or go for your father. I think to my friend, can speak, English, and some who have, they will privilege to go to school and learn small little language. At least we can all represent ourselves. But our people, our mothers, our sisters, our aunts, they don't really speak well. They speak the dialect most often than the English. So if they appear in front of you, at least if you ask the question that is about, you can't deny them because of their last name. That is our point.
How is this problem affecting you as a whole?
No, indeed, it's affecting us a lot. It's affecting us a lot. I can be. I don't have any nationality. In no country that nobody can deport. Trust me. But the fact that my mother has taken the time looking at the holy month of Ramadan, waking up as early as 3 in the morning to prepare food for the family. Then she has had that kind of a sleepy at night, taking her time, about 8:30 to 9 o'clock to proceed. At least decide, all right. To get the gas so that she have the privilege to vote for the person that she loves. Then she appeared there 11 o'clock to 12 o'clock, you go with another person. Ready to say that we don't want to take that, and we encourage the people to do the due diligence.
Yes, I want to come in a little bit. Yeah, like what my brother Bangali said. If you question somebody's nationality and they provide you with certain documents to prove that they are competent enough, but yet they still doubt their nationality, then we question that. That is one of our arguments. Like I said, I was just speaking for the older, like our parents on the issue. But we have our young people that have documents. They have national citizen ID card and their past voter registration cards. Yeah. And they will show it, but yet they will still deny them. Why?
Has it been a case, to be honest, honest to the discussion, has there been a case where, like you said, someone went to register, their nationality was questioned, they provide all of the documents, they have a previous voter registration card, they have a passport, and in addition, their citizen ID is still. I mean, have you witnessed case that can you point to that perhaps it helps us follow the visit assessment maybe prior to whether this happened at a certain point in time.
Like we came in with this kind of topic because of the information we got from our community, the Muslim community.
Yeah, especially district number 12.
District number 12.
Yeah, to be precise,
we got more Muslim going, fighting for leadership, or they are aspiring to be running. So you got more Muslim from District 12, District 13, District 2, District 3, District 17 as well. And we got more Muslims there. So we are not just making up stories. We are speaking from the feedback, because if we as leaders tell our people to take the lead to go and register and vote, because their vote is their right. So if those people take their time and go through the process and they are being denied, should we sit and look at the process? Like you asked me now, you said whether we want to do a follow-up, right? Because we want to speak
because at times, one of the reasons why I asked that question as well, at times people can want to overemphasize the happenings. Perhaps maybe you went somewhere, you were questioned, and after the situation you were allowed. So that person want to bring a case and emphasize the situation. So because you understand as well that the Muslim community is vast majority. And to prevent them is also not good for us. And so because of that, someone want to use that. At times the politics play, other politicians use that to infiltrate the system. They want to use it, and maybe one time or two times where someone was denied because of later on that person was allowed to register. And they use that situation now and try to make the situation look like all the Muslims are registering because of this.
No.
Because when these things come out, then it affects the process. It makes our borders will not want to participate again.
Okay.
And because of that, it is their right to participate. That's why we ask the question, whether has there been a case where you ask someone sure they are prepared voter?
Yes. There's a guy or case like that. There's a guy, I always riding with him. So all he feel like I follow the process. Because the way he always carry me in the morning, sometimes bring me back. So yeah, he told that I will follow the process. So he said, oh man, I'm facing issue with this registration business. I said, but what is inspiring? And he told me, say the private year, I carry my passport, but then the people deny me. They say I'm not speaking the right English. And this was mother and father born here. But during the war, they took him to Freetown. Okay. They took him to Freetown, in school in Freetown. I mean, he spent the rest of his life in Freetown. He just came in recent time when he got his document. And he said that going over there with the English he was speaking, the people said, you from Freetown, we can register you. So in that case, what can we do?
And he presented his passport.
Yes.
Wow.
I decided that I will help you. But then today I had an issue, so I never had a chance to go to another center with him.
How do you feel when people are bringing those complaints to you, especially these folks deserve the right to register, and you see every day they complain that they went through the process, like you said, it becomes so irritating that something is supposed to be part of. Someone asking you a whole lot of questions that sometimes is not necessary. Sometimes you be vexed, you want to say things that are not right.
That's the
How
point.
do you feel when
I
people
feel
bring this
so
kind of
bad.
stuff?
I feel so bad because we don't want violence in this election. We want peaceful election, let everybody have their way to vote. So we don't want for no one to stop it or to come up with violence, because this young man is crying in large complaint to me. So if I carry him to the center and the people still deny it, I think we have to call the government into this. So I feel so bad. He's a young person. You can't deny it, right? He's Liberian.
Yeah, there are tons of complaints. So one incident happened in front of me. That was not a story. It's not a story making. I was called. Oh yeah, the person they say I shouldn't register. No, and I was at the centers. So the gentleman had to go into the center to do his voter registration. So in the process, he was pulled over, asking one or two questions. And the guy said that really he don't trust the guy. The guy is not a Liberian. So he decided very good. No, so he asked him, do you have any past voter registration card? So he said yes. So he decided to pull his card up and give it to the guy. The guy said, oh man, he is not clear. But how can you justify that? Yeah, so I had to go there and talk to him. I said, my brother, you got to see a reason. I'm not submitting to you that, yes, despite the fact that other people will infiltrate the systems, but the National Election has a guideline. If you doubt anybody, you ask those few or document, whether the person have those documents. If he or she present any of those documents, there's no further questions. You see? So we are saying here is that speaking English, speaking series, it's not an indicator. As far as Liberia law is concerned, that you are a Liberian. So I'm a Madingo. So if I appear in front of you, I'm Bangali Keita. Oh, I'm a Keita not from here, the Keita from Mali, the from Guinea, the from Lisa. Oh, so you want to tell me that would determine that. So and most of our parents had not had the opportunity the way we are that we want to go. Let's learn the Queen language. At least we can know how to defend ourselves. You ask, oh, I tell you, yeah, yes, from, yeah, from, what have you. So indeed, we want to discourage the people from that.
Let's move to call quickly before we come back generally to what you want and we take a few calls on this matter. I believe there are lots of ideas out there, perhaps are going through similar situation. We want to ask you if this situation continues from a holistic, from a general point of view, if this situation continues for the Muslim community particularly, what do you think is going to happen? I mean, in terms of the registration process, like we said, you constitute a very huge number of the population. If this continues, what do you think perhaps will happen?
First of all, if this continue, I can see that most of our people will draw back from the process because all we speak to our people is peace and peace. So nobody will want to do or violate or stuff. So the only thing our people will do, they will draw back, and that is what we don't want because we got too many people that are running within the Muslim community. And we want to support our brothers and sisters out there. Because if you say, because somebody's last name is Barim or Kamara or Keita or so how can you determine whether they are Liberian or not? And when you for document and the presentation show document and you still question their nationality. So we see it as I don't know how to classify it. We our people have been rejected within this process, but yet we're still talking to them to tell them to calm down because we know that this government is our government and they prioritize their religious tolerance, they prioritize every citizen within this country. So I think, and we want to send a message to our Islamic here to add a voice to it because we are not just making up stories. We did our own background investigation. We've been going around and we've been seeing a lot of these cases. And people are being rejected on a daily basis. So we just want things to go right. Because we want our people to be peaceful. We want everybody to be seen as Liberia. We are all equal in the face of the law. So we should be treated as such. Thank you.
And then we're going to conversation to take your calls before we come back here to 5 the fundamental right in terms of what exactly you guys want from the national government and all those responsible for the process, because like we said, the first step to a successful election begins with the voter registration. So the way we govern ourselves to determine how the election result will go. 0770 907 907 0880907 numbers. Because of these numbers now, you have input. Perhaps you have experienced similar situation, or perhaps your case might be a bit different. We encourage you to say 0770 907 907. We talked to this person.
Good evening. How are you?
Let's hear you quickly.
Good. Calling you from Mama Point.
Yes,
just want to weigh in on this point of view that has been shared about people being rejected. Honestly, I have witnessed one or two incidents where I carefully observed. I was around the back community somewhere there was a registration. I managed to go around the Mama Point. And what I was there was happening is that people come and these electoral agents, these guys who are in charge of the, voter registration process. To some extent, they try to do due diligence. Like somebody said, you are caved or bombarded, or this and that, Johnson or Peter. Now, someone said, you guys ask the question, who determines who is what and what, right? There are criteria. There are national standards set. And you know, when you appoint a man to be an agent to represent a specific issue, that agent is trained to identify frauds, identify disjointed information in order to gain favor also. What's happening in Liberia is that this issue is not about Muslims. You have two tribes in this country because of the, what I would say, you know, when leadership is not strong, when wisdom is lacking in leadership, you have a lot of trouble. The Madinos and the Fula, they are hiding under the word Muslim. And they want to impose, use their religion to discredit the constitution of this country, that because you are Liberia is a free country, it's a awesome country, that you know, you come from anywhere in the world, no one's supposed to check what you are.
Okay, and let me just ask for more calls, another caller, we can keep in the line for long. Good evening and thanks for joining us.
Yes, sir?
This is Harris. This is Harris live. Thanks for joining us.
Harris. Okay, yeah, Harris, sorry. Thank you. My name is Chuck Bigger Jr. and I'm joining from my district court president. You know, let me say good evening to the studio guest. But you know, I got people with people there. Let me say this. You know, when one sent the religions to the nations to the prophet, the people of Liberia appoint Pache, or never told the prophet that they religion, if you belong to CDC or if you belong to United Party. I'm telling you, they know. If they want to say something, then they say it on behalf of the doctrine. But if you don't go and politicize, I'm taking the money to find our Islamic religion like the way people politicize in the Christianity.
Thank you. We take this person. Good evening and thanks for joining us. You live.
Yeah, good evening, Harris. I want to say thank you for the show I've been following. My name is Suku. I'm Siku Sharif, the CEO of Voice of Liberia. I've called to portray some of the things that have been said by your guests. I'm a victim of what they are saying. Sometime last week, I went to register in District Number 9 to be specific, Lee Middle High School. They were expected to know that I was interrogated because I had to be secretary. That process took me 3 days to conclude my registration. Mind you, such an issue happened to someone that has the voice, because I know how to speak for myself and I have the platform to speak. When I went to register, I did the online registration. When I got before the guy, he asked me all the necessary questions and I answered them. The only problem there I had because my name was secretary. And he had a doubt. He needed to send me to the immigration lady. And I asked him why he decided to send me to the immigration lady. We had a late altercation. I respected it because I never wanted it to come out when people say, oh, Sibu doesn't want to do this. I went to the immigration lady, unprofessionally about what she did. She asked me, and I explained just what transpired. She said because the people said it, so she needs to go by what they said. She ran away to according to us. That day, I called one of the communications person from the National Elections Commission, Mr. Domba. You won't believe the Harris. Mr. Domba called the Ghanaian person saying that in such a process, once someone is willing to invest, you need to register the person. In my communication person, anything to my national, you think I have gone through that? You think I have that will happen to me? I accept it. And then if you talk to that guy, he said he would not listen. He will not register me. I need to bring my passport. I need to bring all documents. I didn't stop there. I called the director of communications. Henry Solo. And then Henry talked to the guy. He said he could not listen. You won't believe it. Henry drove to the site that evening and talked to them and told them that they were making mistakes. If for any reason I was going else that issue NEC will be in the wrong, that guy refused. It was on the third day that I went with the mindset I said for any reason that they will not allow me to register, they will take me to police because I was prepared and I felt that it was a total violation of my constitutional rights. I'm saying this to me, this happened to me. That really on that scene,
So what's about
in a whole life and make people to know what he's doing. If they could do this to me, what about other people that do not have the means to express themselves? I listen to the other caller. I'm not trying to reject what is just what he said. But this is what the National Elections Commission should do, and it should know it. Being a Muslim is not a crime. We will not be here and allow these things. These are things that can bring about things that are not going to happen.
Sure.
I received numerous complaints that people that were dressed of the Muslim descent will be denied. They will be interrogated and they will be pushed. And I wonder if people have read the history of Liberia to know if whether Mandingos are not Liberians as well. What is the crime now? The law says there are tests of citizenship. There are ways you can get citizenship of a country. So because somebody is dressing that way, somebody can be oh, not Liberia, and all that of things. The National Elections Commission should take a key note of that. They are denying more people. So people are being asked to bring passports. People are being asked to bring all kinds of documents, which is totally wrong. When people go there, it is not because they've been gone or they got a job or they have something that relating to them being observing the Muslim ethics. It means that they are wrong. So for those of you that will call and say, oh, maybe they don't want to do it, it's not the case. The thing here is, we are all Liberians and we are to be given the opportunity to register. Why would you be denied? Who is more Liberian than anybody else? Who they think they are that they should deny someone everything? So I just want to watch what the people say in your guest, and I think the National Elections Commission sooner is better. Because if they don't do what they should do, at the end of the day, there will be other people that will see it other way, and they will be right to reject it and let the right thing happen. Thank you very much, Harry.
And then thank you, Chief Executive Officer of Guatemala. You were weighing in on the discussion. We still one or two more calls, and then this is a very long program. Good evening.
Yeah, good evening, sir. I thank you and your studio guests for this important topics concerning the voter registration. I'm Osman Masare, calling you people from Bombay. We are facing a lot of problems here concerning the same voter registration. more especially the youth of this country, we don't want any embarrassment because everything that happens, they will say the youth planning to do certain thing again and not call for. People are denying some people here because of their religious name. And you know, Muslims, we are people that are very kind, we don't want problem in this country because the war, the first war that was fought in this country, it was sometimes based on the religious, activities, more especially in Remo and other, people that fought against the Catholic, government. And Osman Masale, I went somewhere to register. People deny me because of my name. They said I'm a Muslim. I'm a Madino. I'm not from Liberia here. And that's not true. So I want you people to be necessary to also get special consultation with NEC for their fee agent to draft that to stop from doing such. Because these are the things that sometimes can mark, a chaos for future. And we don't want that to happen in this country.
This won't be our last call. We have to go on this discussion.
Hello.
Good evening, quickly, let's hear you.
Good evening to you, Shebu Sherry. Good evening to the voice of Liberia. Good evening to my fellow Liberians on Radio Land this great evening. By the way, introduction, I'm Alfonso A.S. Kamara, calling for District number 10 to be precise. I joined the conversation for my residents from Congo community. Thank you very much. I'm listening to your two guests, and what all you explain is the challenges that we face with during the registration process. When this thing started, the past Monday, we were the first to obtain our membership ID card, our voting ID card. And in my present, people were denied because of their accent. And let me read. There's a Liberian who are now school in Liberia. They are school in different countries. So that does not mean they are not Nigerian. So these are things that this government, this so-called government is doing that
I understand your frustration. We don't engage the system this week. All the calls are so many. It tells that the situation
It speaks volumes.
We're going to leave the calls, and obviously, if we want to do it in the corners, I believe we won't go today.
Hello?
You'll be our last caller for sure. Let's hear you.
Okay, this is Daniel calling from this weekend.
Go ahead, Daniel.
Okay, I am not a Muslim. I have nothing to do with Muslim. But when I went to register, the people asked me same question: where my father come from and where my mother from. And I told them where my mother from and where my father from. And they asked me also where I was born and which country I am from. And then I went ahead, they went ahead and registered me. I took my ID card. Then my voter registration card, I took it and I come here initially. Where did people come from and saying that they are denied them? The question goes to everybody. The question goes to everybody across the board. Where did they come from? And I come follow that video and say that the question is the people can speak English. That's all I'm doing here. You come from grandpa, come from other places, you come from other places, you cannot speak some, you cannot speak English, where did they come from?
If you have the consensus before we wrap up the discussion.
Okay, first of all, I will speak to the last caller. He said where we came from. Because her last name didn't sound anywhere like Muslim or Madingo or Fula last name. First of all, we as Muslims we believe we are one, brother and sisters, as long we practice the same religion. It's not about your ethnic group. But wherever or Madingo for sure, if he's a Muslim, Va for sure then if he's a Muslim as well. We are not speaking on tribalism. We are speaking on the reality because each time when a Muslim speak over here, it just sounds, I don't know, horrible to certain people. They don't want hear anything that has to do with Muslim or anything, but nobody can change they find that this is a secular since Muslims also have rights, equal right as others, even the traditional people that don't have any religious beliefs, they have right as well. So we are not just making up stories. We are not just making up stories. These are stories or these are situations that people have been faced on a daily basis. Because if you imagine the same you can go through this. So what about our common people, the uneducated ones? So this is a serious issue, and NEC need to put their feet down in, because this other registration is really upside down. We've been having series of registration, photo registration for 2005. At that time I knew. Maybe the past one, I was younger, so I can't tell you anything to that. But for 2005, what this time around, are they denying our people? So we didn't come to come preach violence, we didn't come to come speak or make up stories. We came to speak to our government, we came to speak to the NEC institution. Then they see reason. The people they're sending outside there, there should be religious tolerance. There should be tribal tolerance. Because not because the person is David, then definitely they are Liberians, or because this guy is Cameroon and he from Guinea or Sierra Leone. No. We came for a civil war where most of our Liberians went outside to go to school. And they come back. So while we are pressing accent determine their nationality. This is the question we keep asking.
This is the question we keep asking. Go around the table.
Yeah, I want to address the first caller. I don't know his name, and I did not remember his name.
Mama Point.
Yeah, from Mama Point. Yeah, he was threatening that how do you call it, if the head is weak, and he decided to discuss about there's a law that governing someone to be a Liberian, what have you. But sadly, he didn't go to any law. So if I appear in front of you, I'm a Muslim, and my name irritates you, it sounds so odd into your ear. Like, for example, the CEO of Voice of Liberia, if he can go through that, how about someone who can speak English? So there are criteria that you can be a citizen through naturalization and whatever, blah, 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 blah. But yeah, so if I have appeared in front of you, you ask me, oh, mommy, what is your name? My name is Banal K. Keita. But man, that Keita name looking somehow. What do you mean by that? So if I identify myself to you, there's a need that you should register me. So in a nutshell, I want to encourage NEC authority to see our best that how they can talk to their people. We are not the people of violence. More people want to ride. The Muslim people are not ready again. The Muslim people are not ready again. They are violent people, but we are not violent. So we try to speak to the issue so that the authority can want to hear us.
And then we cross the table before we come back to Omo to close up discussion. What exactly you want from the national government, and what's the message to the National Elections Commission?
My message to National Election they should really help us in this condition, this situation, because I think it was the last one that said where they come from. For me, my parents from the faculty. I got other people from came up. Then you ask them where they come from. Where we came from, I from Nefa. I related to people in being came up. So you get to Nagi. So Muslim are all, they got Muslim in Minda. They got Muslim in Home. They got Muslim in Nagpi. So, under no condition, my parents want me, I didn't even know everyone like money. I only travel to the places like that. But I will go here. So, he can't ask that question. So, I beg us. We're asking government and we're asking entity to really to do their best. And to extend a particular time because most of our motorcyclists need drivers, they really register. Because each time they go and they will see the land, they feel discouraged, they come back more. So most of the time we will encourage children, you all register on Sunday. Thank God they created that time. But still, some of them don't want to take 1 minute of their time to go and register. So we just want to encourage them, let them go and register. Nobody will deny you, and we pray that nobody should deny the right of Liberia. Thank you and thank you for listening.
Thank you so very much. Close up with Omar. She's going to be the last person to wrap up.
I finished. I
can
take it. Yeah, before Umu, please.
Okay.
Let's just squeeze in.
Yeah, let's just squeeze in.
Okay, Harris.
Let's just squeeze in.
Yeah, bro, Harris, I want to tell you thank you for affording us the opportunity, and at least we encourage more of this. We also encouraging our peoples to turn up to do their voter registrations. And we also pleading to our people, violence is not the way forward. And we'll keep engaging the process until things can go onward. Thank you.
Thank you so very kindly. And she will close up on the discussion. More quickly, let's hear you.
Okay. Thank you, Harris. You made us to talk about issues that surrounding the registration process and some experiences from the field. And we forgot that we're supposed to appeal. We came here purposely to appeal to our government that the time should be extended, because looking at the timing, we are in the holy month of Ramadan. Our mothers are complaining a lot because normally our mothers are responsible to put food traditionally now, with our religion, traditionally. So when the men fast, the children fast, the mother is there to prepare food so they can be able to break their fast. So we will appeal for an extension of the timing. And secondly, we want to appeal to our people, let them be patient. We know that this government can listen and they should try to put things in place because we don't want things to go out of hand. If people think that we're making up stories, fine for them, but these are realities that we are speaking on.
When you call for an extension in the term, like how many more days you think the Elections Commission can add to the current term given?
They can add like 1 month to the time. It will be very much okay for us because we will be fasting for like 1 month. So and the voter registration process is already here and it's ongoing. And more people are complaining, like what my sister Benu said. Most of our Yana boys, our pen riders, when they see the line alone, they feel discouraged on going through the process. So we urge our government that they should see need or reason to extend the time so we can be able to get a fruitful registration done. Our people should be accepted. They are Liberians like all others. So we want our people to be peaceful as well and patient during the process. And we will continuously appealing and talking to them so they can go through the process. Thank you, Liberia. Thanks to the Voice of Liberia family. Thanks for affording all this time. Thank you.
And thank you so very much. It comes from the Muslim, the Islamic affairs of the Coalition for Democratic Change. Sharing conversation with us. Basically, we talk around the parliamentary voter registration process. And they are calling on the National Elections Commission for an extension in the term for the fact that they are observing the holy month of Ramadan. There are a lot of challenges. Folks, this all the time ought to be on the program. Cash on tomorrow with another edition. I've been a presenter, Harris Billy, saying, have yourself a God bless night.